Hey everyone, hope all is well. This is Jeff Fisher at Ride the Wave podcast. Mark Robinson is not with me. He was having some technical difficulties. For anyone listening right now, we're doing a virtual. I'm on a virtual right now. And from time to time, you guys may see this. When Mark and I are on the fly, I had mentioned in a previous update, sometimes we're going to connect to a virtual, or if there's somebody we need to talk to that can't get to the studio or funding, if we have a little bit of a gap, then we're going to connect to a virtual and release it this way. So right now, I just wanted to reach out to you guys and give you some updates on the foundation and let you know a little bit what's going on with us, how much we really appreciate all the support and the audience. And like I said, Mark also, he does extend his gratitude to you guys. Unfortunately, he's not here. I'm going to see him a little later. We're going to sit down and go over some plans for the foundation and stuff like that. And, just a reminder to everyone that this podcast is much more than just a show. We're targeting building an all-inclusive modern campus for people experiencing homelessness. So a place where people could be accepted, live, and then not leave until they feel vibrant, healthy, productive in life, and can make the best decisions with the clearest state of mind. It's something that we vision being non-religious, open to anyone, wouldn't matter who you are, what race, sex, creed, beliefs, as long as you're somebody that would want to reform. And there'll be a bit of assessment for mental health. And I think that it's really an amazing opportunity, because what we found is that various resources are scattered all around for people, and they don't feel like anyone cares. So there are good places around. I don't want it to seem like there are places in Morristown or anywhere else where there are individuals or charities or places that don't care. But it gets difficult when people's hands are tied, or maybe there's red tape. They want to do certain things, but they're not able to. But it gets frustrating for people in the homeless community. And I do want to thank Jose and Heather, who you got to check out their episode about transportation gap. They're amazing volunteers. They're our first, we have 3 volunteers, so 4, excuse me. I also want to thank my cousin Kirsten, who is really supportive as well. And she's been helping out quite a bit with the foundation. And she's been great. So the support on that end has been amazing. But anyway, when you're expected to be at a place or an appointment to obtain resources, and you're tired and you're hungry, you don't have a car or money, and you have to be there, and they don't give you money for transportation, then people get frustrated and end up sleeping on the street. And I think that that's wrong. I think we could do better as a community. So the campus is going to be community based, and it's a major project. It's so huge. So how do we get there? Number 1 is we could use your help to please like and subscribe, because monetizing the show is important. We feel like we have developed a nice, good platform where people could share their talents, people could share their stories, whether it be homeless, drug addiction, their struggles, if they want to reveal it in an effort to get the word out, because that's the first step in this project. It's to get the word out and also build trust, our foundation, within the community. So the platform is to get the word out, but also to speak about really anything, life, business, somebody who's really into servant leadership. And I follow John Gordon, Ed Milet, Damon West. I do want to thank all of them as well. Damon, John, Gordon, and Amy, Julie Nee, Jim Vallon. Really an amazing group. You guys should check them out. www.johngordon.com. If you are a leader, especially in business, um, the support of their team is invaluable. And I'm proud and I'm glad to say, and it's early on, because Mark and I's strategy, when we first started, we knew this thing was going to go. Him and I were walking down the street in Morristown. We said to ourselves, it's only a matter of time. We got to walk into it step by step. So I had originally, because I look up to John and it made sense strategically to try to connect with John somehow about this, given the circumstances. So I predicted that maybe 3 years to connect with the Gordon teams to where I'd be able to, and then maybe another year to actually reach John himself. John's not somebody I talk to all the time. I don't want to put false personas up or anything like that, but he was very responsive. When I went to a VIP lunch through Day of Development in Plano, Texas last year, he was very supportive, liked it a lot. He thought it was great. And Damon West is also somebody that I just want to shout out. On top of his game, very supportive on the back end. So I just want to mention that there's definitely high level, there's proof of it operating at a high level. And we need to make sure that we help people that are struggling and bouncing around resources and things like that. So like I said, the first thing is to get the word out, to build trust within the community. While Jose and Heather were on the last show that they were on, sorry, I don't remember the episode. It was a good one, Transportation Gap. And that's not the exact title, but Heather and Jose, we discovered that really big problem within the community, and it was confirmed. So what Ride the Wave is going to do is Mark Robinson is going to get a CDL license. We're going to acquire a van, and at no charge, we're going to offer free taxi service to bring people from different appointments so they don't miss them. So the first thing we need to do is to get Mark a CDL. We're going to go to a place to see if we can get a special program for that. As soon as he has that, or along the way, we're going to try to acquire a van. If anybody has a van or SUV that they'd be willing to donate or know anywhere where we could maybe purchase one cheap, that would be really appreciated. We're trying to acquire that. I also personally, I go to Liquid Church in Parsippany. I have some feelers out there to see if I can get into a presentation, because I'm not going to reveal anything else other than this. There's just one other arm, one other component to Ride the Wave Foundation's grand vision. Vision, because obviously the campus is the grand, but another part of our vision that hasn't been released yet that eventually will. So I was trying to see if I could present to their team, the pastors there, and see if maybe we could work together on something like that, or resources. On the back end, I am really looking for donors. I put together a package with different documents and things like that. I want to thank Kathy Colta. Kathy's been very helpful, and really appreciate Sarah and 100% Chiropractic, which is a sponsor of our show. The support is invaluable, especially at this time. So I'm tweaking documents, adding to them. The vision is slowly coming out in writing, and God has given me a full vision. And my fear is that I'm going to do something stupid to screw it up or not pursue it. But I don't know. I really feel like we're receiving the network really well of people that believe in it, but also could assist with certain components that are necessary. And it's great timing. I love how God operates sometimes outside of time and space and brings things around, with the foundation and in my life there. So we're really committed to this, and definitely could use some help at this stage. One of the other reasons why, to be honest with you, I'm doing this is financially the studio, which is fantastic. Skylum is studio in Totowa, New Jersey. Check them out if you're looking to start a show and you want a quality show and a studio. They're amazing, great group. Slavek, Nick, shout out, and the rest of the team. Really, really recommend them. But we weren't able to pay for the next studio session. And we're working on certain things on the back end there. We needed to get an update out as well. So this works out. You know, Sister Rosemary, for example, at Ancilia Catholic College, who we're partnered with, who is a saint. Shout out to Ancilia Catholic College and Sister Rosemary and the children who inspire us every day. Really, the amazing things that are done with such issues and such major problems. War previously, rebuilding from that. Women are treated so terribly by men, and Sister Rosemary and their group of teachers are really working on the new generation, how to respect women and treat each other passionately. So I was connected to Sister Rosemary and Ancilia College through the Energy Bus, which is John Gordon's program. I'm certified through John Gordon's Power of Positive Leadership. So on a virtual, one day it came up, I noticed there was no sponsorship program, like how Ramsey Solutions had one. So I raised my hand and I asked Julie Nee if they plan on creating one. So it was a good response, and a little bit I've been trying to just help out, and anything I can do to support the Energy Bus efforts, because I think it's a great program. If you're somebody who's a teacher or a principal, or you're a parent and you're in the PTA and you want a good program for the kids, check out the Energy Bus. And so some exciting news there. Speaking of that, the Wavemaker book that I published and authored, the Wavemaker book was revised. So it now has a new chapter in it called Art of Asking Questions. The audiobook, I'm glad I get to say, has been released. So Wavemaker is out there. If you search Wavemaker by Jeff Fisher on Amazon, pick up a copy. It's a repurposed story of my interaction with Daryl and I, which started this, who's a homeless person in a van, walking across the street. I tapped on his window to check on him. Interaction changed our life. Followed by principles to approach others on the street that they normally wouldn't, because we need to get out there. And everybody's enclosed, depressed, and nobody approaches anybody. Everything's so transactional. So radiating positivity, like my mentor, Ray Marone. Shout out to Ray Marone, NCK Equipment, where all this was birthed. So it's a real opportunity to create something fresh. So another thing I'm grateful I get to announce is that a children's book is coming out in the near future. Wavemaker for Kids. Wavemaker for Kids is going to plant the seed for future Wavemaker training program in schools. So it's just a little bit of a seed being planted for later growth there. As we expand, we're looking to take it into schools, these principles, to teach kids at a young age so they can get after it and they can realize their worth and have empowerment. The books are going to be a series. So there's going to be a couple more after that I have in mind. So really, it's fantastic. That transportation gap, going back to that, we're going to be the ones to do that. We'll go to our promise. We'll go to places that Homeless Solutions or anywhere, give them our information, let them know if anybody needs to have a ride somewhere to an appointment, to contact us. Mark and I will work on a little bit of a schedule. Mark will be the driver. And I'll sometimes hop in the van to talk to people, talk about the foundation. So as I mentioned before, people in the homeless community, which is understandable, there's a lack of trust Everybody's beaten down. You know, another discovery, I'll give you an example. Heather and Jose were placed in a hotel in Persephone, not the nicest place. Great that they have shelter. And I had visited them. They were kind enough to invite me in, and they were over my place for dinner as well. And really great friendship we've established. And I had gone in up front because Heather forgot her key to get into the hotel. So I had gone and I talked to the management. It was in the evening. And I explained who I was, and I asked them if there was anything that could be done to maybe work out a monthly rent for Heather and Jose, something that would be less money that maybe possibly the foundation could pick up on their behalf. Given the circumstances this early on, Jose and Heather are supporters, so it would be almost like a paid volunteer just for them to help out. And what I found was that they said no, they can't do that because they're corporate. I asked to talk to corporate. The guy told me no. Then I asked if it was something that was legal. It was a legal aspect, and he said no. He said the water bills in New Jersey were for them, and either the electric, something else got up double, like 100% markup. I found that fascinating. I found it interesting. So I went home to Kristen later that day, and I really do pray. I hope I'm wrong. And I got just slightly emotional, and it was sad because I felt like maybe it is on purpose a bit, and it's systematic. And if it's not, you know, it's really something where, you know, Mark and I feel like we do have a unique angle. You know, so once that trust is built within the community, and as we build that, so that's number one, we have to monetize the show. And then number two is we have to get the books to bestseller. So there's a revenue stream from the show, revenue stream from the book itself, donations, potentially grants, and apparel, so a store. Mark and I have a vision of leveraging a relationship with Andy, who's on the show, about franchising LE Mental Health and franchising those type of facilities to create Wave cafes. So where there will be cafes unique to Wave, maybe community pictures and things like that, what we've done, and then QR codes where people could scan on the table if they wanted to give towards the campus, because it's such a major project that will be costly. And I just want everybody to know, the audience, my family, friends, that I am fully committed to this, and I will never stop. I feel like it's a God-given mission, and I was born to lead this. And it's amazing because I want to share with you a discovery that came out of it, which is really the way it could grow in the industry that Damon West is in, and John Gordon, because they forward-faced businesses primarily, and cultures and businesses, and they travel around and consult leaders and things like that, is that I found that it's a hybrid. So not only could Wavemaker book and the future training we're going to leverage, which is another component for monetization. So the podcast, book, training, store, cafes, you know, it's all going to tie in. So I lost my train of thought. I apologize there. And also with these, it's going to be either me, Mark, because we're limited resources, we don't really have a large team. It is Mark and I. There might be less editing and quality, things like that. So please forgive me and please bear with us as we grow this thing. But like I was saying prior, I got my train of thought back. The hybrid is it could forward face leadership, the leaders. And the reason why is because it was birthed while I was getting to the bottom of the culture of NCK equipment. I own NCK equipment. I purchased it about 3 years ago from Ray Marone out of Warrington, Pennsylvania. He's a great guy. He was a great mentor. Ray was a influence on me getting into faith personally. The most positive person consistently I ever met. So it was important to me, and I understood, and that it's also what I'm into, what I've been really researching a lot, and I understand the importance of building a mission and a really great culture as a backbone early on. So everything else as you grow could be based on that, hire and letting people go, things like that. So I knew it was important to do that. And I've mentioned it on the show before, I'm just reiterating. So, how do I encapsulate those values, Array, that energy? Hey, like all that. We used to say, you're riding the wave. Yeah, you're riding the wave when we were doing really great with sales. COVID hit, don't worry about it. Keep moving forward. Really amazing. So I'm blessed that Wave was discovered through that. And it really was that. So it's an opportunity to develop a program to teach leaders through a process how to get to the bottom of their personal purpose, how they want to contribute, if at all, to the community, in what capacity, to build a nonprofit around that in a unique way, but also to build language, to build cross-marketing and logos and things like that. Because it would be really great if something like that also sort of became normal or standard. If it was standard where everybody had a foundation directly tied in there, because there's nothing wrong with really presenting that. So hey, what do you do? I am a marketing manager. I'm a social media manager, or I do short clips. Oh, that's great. But for the community, my nonprofit is food trucks, cutting hair, handing out clothing. So everybody would kind of, in a normal day, everyday language, would kind of mention what they do. And I would, for the community, so I would think that if somebody says what they do as their job or for the community, most people would be more into what they do for the community. So our language around that would be great. And I think that's really what it is. It's not going to come from the top down. It's from the inside out. This country was built from the people, and it was built by the people. So anything that we do to change things drastically and bring ourselves into a new paradigm is us. It's our community from the inside. And everything around us has been built to deter us from that and distract us from who we truly are. If we come together as a team and really believe in this thing, and I believe it in my heart, that God has given me the tools, and my past experiences has given me the ability to lead teams to be able to see this thing through to its fullest capacity. And I'll never stop. I'm going to put everything that I have into it. And so far, I realize that it's been a journey of, tears, blood, sweat, and tears, all that. And I'm okay with it. And I'm willing to pay the price for it to be great. I need help. It's not something that I'm able to do by myself. So I really appreciate anybody's expertise at this time. Once we open up certain revenue streams, it's going to be amazing. There are also other thoughts and ideas to be able to generate money to put towards to the foundation. And I have to see how to structure it, because the book money comes to me, and, look at compliance, stuff like that. But it's exciting. It's exciting that the children's book is going to come out. And from really formation, June 2023, till now, we've come a long way. But we have some projects to go slow. So I'm putting together some packages, some paperwork, forward-facing potential donors for a program around building up the show, the podcast, the books, the future training, community outreaches, and various projects. I'm trying to think what else, but everything that we're doing, every strategy all the time, Mark and I always points to cutting the ribbon. That's our dream, is to do that. And as we grow the show, and look, I think I said this one other time, maybe on the show, but if it were up to me, recognition on the show, I would do without. The money's great, and building this thing and seeing this through. I know that it's going to be a little bit difficult for Kristen and I with that potentially. I also think there's a lot of blessings with it, but one of the things that's important, it's not for any clout. Mark and I are not looking for all that. If we could leave a legacy for our family and friends and financially be wealthy, that's fantastic and that's great. And it's a product of us giving back. But that's not what drives us. That's not what fuels us, is making a ton of money. It's bringing this forth and bringing it out into the world, really. So I think that there's all the components. There's a real opportunity here to do something great. And in order to do that, I have to shatter the glass ceiling and get into the higher level where Damon, John, people in the self-help or the business leadership, the empowerment is what I was meant for. It's what I was born for. Is what God put me on earth for, is to bring this out into the world. And NCK equipment is directly tied in. We do have sister company thoughts and visions. And also we have a way through Wave, we could position ourselves in the manufacturing space that we're in as thought leaders in the industry, being forefront in technology with certain things that are unique, creatively, being a real solution-based company. Now, with that, I had mentioned it on the show prior, year and a half ago, roughly. It was so ridiculously stupid, and it's amazing how, some small things could happen. But for me, the lessons that I've learned from it, how the system works, what not to do, me, how I handle adversity, how I overcome adversity and things like that. So for anybody that's familiar with invoicing and quoting, I had been getting sent emails of invoices for one of our vendor partners that I would generate, or my colleague Alex, would generate a invoice to send to the customer so we get paid. When I purchased the company from Ray, there wasn't a ton of capital, so I was receiving those emails and forwarding them over to Alex. And on my task list, and I had said to Alex, I'm going to create a general email and give it to the vendor so it goes to both of us. So you get it, and then you enter the invoices, I could double check. And I had a bunch of stuff going on, so priority-wise, I bumped it down a bit. I didn't create the distribution list. The week, and I was fine. Like, I ended up always forwarding invoices. So 1 week, and it figures, right? There's $200 invoice, $300, really small invoices that are there that week, all week. I was at Kristen's mom's house, my mother-in-law's house, Lily. Shout out to Lily. Really appreciate her. She's amazing, great supporter. Love her. And I remember sitting at the computer because I had to get some work done. And I looked at the computer and I saw it and my heart sank. And I realized right there, the snake bit. I knew I had forgotten to forward 2 emails over to Alex. And basically that means that we got caught holding the bag. We had to pay the vendor with money we didn't have because we didn't receive the money from the customer yet. We were going really well, and really smooth there. Other than that, we were on pace to grow, create a great company. So there's just a couple other mistakes that were made a little bit after. That would have probably been recoverable. A little zero on an overpayment as we were going quick, small staff. Ended up just overpaying the vendor just slightly, which teetered it. It was enough to throw us off, and we couldn't get the money back. It went towards credit, if that makes sense. For anybody that doesn't, understand, I get that. It's fine. I just wanted to be transparent because I'm going to be open. I'm not looking to hide anything about my life. or what's going on, because I feel like the more you guys know about me, what my intentions are, what we're looking to do, the better. Um, and also, I'm not looking for any surprises and put up a false persona, and later on be like, oh, what the heck. And it is. And I realize some of the best people, best leaders in the world. Walt Disney fired not being creative enough from a job or demoted. Oprah Winfrey told she'll never be in television. Sylvester Stallone turned down 1,000 times a movie, told he'll never act in it. Amazing. It's persistence and it's learning from past mistakes. So that teeters off. We're still dealing with this. So that's why really could ask for your support when it comes to any donations towards the foundation. Not only for the foundation itself, not only for the foundation itself. Kristen and I just want to make sure that she's okay. She's been an amazing blessing to Kristen. I love you very much. I really appreciate you and what you put up with, because it's not easy at this phase. And we put off a bit of vacation, and she's been so sweet on that. And it's tough because we're really grinding it out right now, and we're not taking much breaks. So that would give a little bit relief on the foundation, and that would transfer over bandwidth wise and labor to NTK there as well. So, I'm looking at it like, here's the stage we're at. We're really at a startup, even though we have the website up and we're doing all that because we don't have money. And I mentioned to Kathy, I think we're early stages of growth or mid stages of growth. I got taken back to startup, which she was right. And right now, I'm confident in my ability to present it. So if given the right audience, I could present this, I believe, pretty well. And we're looking for sponsors on the podcast. So if you guys go to our website at ridethewave.org, and if you take a look at the show and you're interested, your company, you think it's a good fit, your organization, your foundation, you want to be on it, we'd be glad to have you. I can send you some information. Just go to the bottom of the page, fill out the contact form. It'll come directly to me, and we'll reach out accordingly. And with the show, to get it to monetization, it's really, things like when you look at it, we gotta, with the shorts, enhance the thumbnails, watch hours. We have a decent subscriber base. We do have to increase that, but on the back end, views, things like that. Do we move the trailer in the beginning, a quarter of the way in, because people are not, they're dipping out maybe in the beginning, little things like that. It can get complicated. So I'm not familiar with it. And I'm also somebody that is from the private sector, business with NTK and been in other sales positions, primarily all sales, project management and leadership roles. So it's not something that's in my wheelhouse per se. So we could use social media managers, marketing people, videographers. We could use anybody in graphic arts, anybody that believes in this, that would really want it out there. We could utilize anybody to connect us with the right people when it comes to donations. Any grant writers, I don't know if we're a fit for grants because we're in a unique model. We're in a model like Damon or somebody like that. I think we're unique. I'm not really sure. So I can't really say, but we're following our path the way we are. And, I just want to make sure it's structured properly when the time comes. But, on one end, I look at it and things are definitely scary. I don't want to underplay it. Those mistakes led to things that went into my personal finances. And also, we have plans and we're really working hard to increase sales economically in our manufacturing sector. Of course, it ended up being a really slow quarter, so much slower than last year. I think if it was the same, we would be much more out of the woods with it. But it's a challenge, and I'm willing to go through it and learn. And I know some of the best people were bankrupt and other things. I'm not trying to say that I want that or I'm making an excuse, but we since then took our quarterly books reconciliation down from 3 months to once a month. We partnered with Seafair Consulting out of Maryland, and I have access to a fractional CFO. Once a month is more of a deep dive in our finances. We go through it, and also has helped create a budget that we look at as actual comparably. Mark Hansen and I, my colleague VP of sales, but inner circle, it's us two at NCK Equipment. Ray was just really on his own, so we're a small company. I just want to give a shout out to Mark. He's an amazing person. He's caught on so well. If it wasn't for Mark, you would not see Ride the Wave. This would not be continuing on at all. So I'm not going to pretend to be somebody. I'm not perfect, but there's a little bit of me feeling bad about it, because I know if it didn't happen, that we'd be further along with me structuring the culture and me reminding the missions, us structuring brainstorming sessions, things like that. But at that time when it happened, my attention had to go to sort of putting out fires, and still am scrambling. So it's hard this such early stage. But I'm fueled by the Spirit. For those who know the Spirit, Wave is the Spirit. And every day I sit down, I wake up, I do my morning routine, and I sit down and start to work. It's really headed towards something that's bigger than myself. And one thing that I really ask for anyone that I work with, or you guys, is that please, by all means, you have to say it nasty. I mean, obviously there's a way to deliver anything, but I'm open to constructive feedback. I want to improve. I don't want to be something that I'm not, and I'm not perfect. And Mark is going to make mistakes, and so am I. And we're going to be misinterpreted. And something like this, as it grows, does not come without pushback, some haters, if you will. And, sort of, if God sees you, so does the devil. And that's okay, because we're aware at NCK Equipment in our culture and at Ride the Wave that love won, and we've already won, and we've accepted that. And right now what we're doing is we're just walking into it. And for me personally, on my end, faith is where the fight is. So please know that anytime you guys look at the show and see that, it's all personal opinions, not a direct reflection of the Ride the Wave Foundation with Mark and I. I am a Christian. That's my faith. I also am open to hearing anyone come on the show. I have someone in Paris who's a friend, a great guy. He's helping us out too. My mom's neighbor. Shout out to Paris. Creative Financial Group in Fairfield, I believe. Really amazing person, great guy. Somebody that has gone checked up on my mom. These day and age, some neighbors don't interact, and it's really been fantastic. So the support on that end is amazing. And again, I'm losing track of my thoughts, but yeah, it's something that if you guys want to know, ask. We'll be as honest as we can if we are able to. That notoriety on the show, and I had mentioned it would be easier for Chris and I if we didn't have it, but the notoriety on the show for the podcast, because it goes build trust in the community through the transportation, get the word out. That's the platform of the show. The monetization of the show through sponsorships and YouTube or social media. And the recognition from Mark and I could put us in a position to allow us to see certain things through for the campus that we normally wouldn't. So what do I mean by that? We run into a little bit of an obstacle, a law, a rule, regulation, anything that maybe we feel is unfair or is blocking us to get to a really good cause. And we need to bring that up and fight it in some way or try to change it so we can leverage surveys or your help, really, the community. So there's that. it allows us to really eventually big stage to get really big tragic stories out there, ones that are pretty major and significant close to home, you know, and if that's the case, and people would want to do that, that's a reason why I'm looking to do that, to put certain individuals that have had real tragedies that can make an impact to change certain policies or things in the country or the world, but on a big stage so people see, because the path is to the person. That's our tagline, and that's how we are always going to pursue. So in this world that is getting virtual and artificially intelligent, with artificial intelligence and this and that, our job is to remind people to separate the two and the true values to the person. So if you're talking to eventually an AI assistant who sounds like a person that interacts with one, don't forget, you got to have those personal skills to also interact with each other. And what you're doing should have an end result and a mindset of helping people. Because what is the point of having virtual reality, AI, and all this stuff if the world is falling apart and there's trash on the streets? And, sometimes I got to say, I walk in certain neighborhoods around here that are nice, and I notice certain individuals that look like they are in need and help more so than before. And why is that? If we're left to our own devices as a species, and everybody's walking on eggshells, not bringing it up and showing love tough to people, that individual that right now is nobody wants to rock the boat and talk to, who's an alcoholic, you saying nothing and you holding it in because you're afraid of that, or not wanting to say anything because it's not your business, just as much your fault and my fault. And I think it's important that as a society, we start to take responsibility and we grow up. And, we all have, I think, a certain amount of emotions. And I think that we shouldn't count any of those emotions out, just learn about them. So anger, if you are somebody who's Christian or whatever faith, I'm not personally familiar with the Quran, but when Jesus tipped the table, that was righteous, anger. So it's okay, but delivery, moderation, where you're coming from, in my opinion. So with that said, I think that it's important to say, and John F. Kennedy, I loved when he had said, "Ask not what your country can do for you. What can I get? Why is it? Why are they not? Why is this like that? They need to change this. They need to do this. But what you can do for your country. How could I contribute to my community here?" I personally think there are some countries, that will have somebody who's, I don't know what, I think 18, go to the military. I think that we need, as soon as a kid turns 18, that they have to mandatory volunteer for the community. And there will be several benefits to that. One, they will maybe gain some personal skills, get out of the house, and they'll be with people that are giving back. So there'll be good influences on them, especially if they have a poor environment. They'll have to go. Two, they may find a liking to it and want to continue it and not go down a path later on and find a career path maybe. Three, they're getting their hands on and tangibly contributing to the community. This includes me on sometimes, but please stop it with myself. I get it. It's important. Provide for my family, all that, yes. But I know there's a unique angle. There's something that how you contribute to the community. And even if it's getting an LLC to the side, just doing something, I think is really great. And, I don't have kids. If Chris and I are blessed with children, that would be amazing. and we're looking to be great parents. So I don't want to say on that end. And I'm sure, you always have to look out for your kids. But my point really is that we could get so busy with everything, and we're laser focused that we're missing the greater aspects. And we're all humans, and people are in pain. You've been in pain. Think about when you've been addicted to that, whatever it was, and how it felt in between, or that confusion and that whatever, because everybody has that. So let's start to realize that, and be okay with that in our conversations, and realize that the face and the front is great. And I think there's a time and a place when we need to get things done with projects, and you have to push through emotions. I don't want to mistake that with not thinking that people can't be strong or push through. I get up, or there are times when I do things that I don't want to do. So it's not about that, responding to only what you want to do. It's about pushing through. And you know what? It's just a fact. Like, I don't, maybe, I guess overnight you get lucky on a short or something online, but it's a product behind the scene. And whoever sees anybody that has any notoriety, any success, or anything like that, it's been years of grind, or blood, sweat, tears, sacrifice. And anybody else that says otherwise and complains, they're just not doing the proper things to enhance their lives. You're saying that, but not doing the work, or your fear is getting in the way somehow. But it also does not come without a bit of risk. It's impossible. Like, I really, really want to do that, but I got this job. I can't leave this. I'll wait until then. It's always something. But I realized for me that with Daryl, the spirit hit in a surge, wham, so hard. Maybe it won't be like that. And everybody's different. Everybody has their unique angle, the unique way they go about. Some may be more engineering, while some may be more visionary. We're all different personalities, and I respect that. And I respect other people, and I'm saying all these things in an effort just so you guys to get to know my personality and things like that, and who I am and how I think. But at the end of the day, when Mark and I approach people, it doesn't matter. Somebody's hair could be blue, red, it could be somebody of any race. It could be somebody so different than myself that I normally wouldn't approach, but it's all your vibe. It's all how you approach. It's all what you say and how soft you are in your language. And, I realize that everybody seems to want the campus. So, I think given that and all the feedback, it's consistent and it's 100% confirmed that it is something that people want. So with that said, this is only a matter of time, and I hope that you continue to ride the wave on this journey. I just want to thank our sponsors again of the podcast, 100% Chiropractic in Rockaway, New Jersey. Check them out. Dr. Matt, Dr. Sarah, the rest of their team, fantastic. So happy with our supporters, even though the money's looking sometimes scary as heck right now. Really, really would appreciate anything that you can do when it comes to volunteer donations. Please like and subscribe. Follow us on social media if you're into it. It's going to get better. I'm doing it things myself. I'm using the computer. And I also really appreciate the studio. They automate it. Ash, my niece, on Kristen's side, I just want to say thank you so much for all the work you're doing, because without you and posting to social media and doing those things, there's no way I'd be able to get to it because of the focus on NCK equipment. And I have such a great, amazing opportunity from the John Gordon companies. When I had mentioned that I thought that it was going to take 4 years to connect to John. Going to get on a call with the president of John Gordon Companies, John Wesley. Shout out to Mr. Wesley. I look forward to speaking with you in the near future. But everybody, I want you to know that the best is yet to come. It's not going to come without challenges and struggles. And please, if you see things that are said or are out there that may contradict or be against us in any way, I'm not telling you what to believe in. I'm just saying, if you can, please just ask me and I'll let you know, because the majority of the time it might be something that is untrue or a mistake that we might have made or something I may have said that was misinterpreted. So for clarification at any time, you guys can come directly to me. I could address it in a form like this. That's what is the good thing about having these updates and Mark and I sitting down. And from time to time, we'll have guests that will come in and do virtuals. But for those of you who want to be on the show that are interested, like I said, or anybody, but when it comes to volunteers, anything like that, bottom of the page, contact page, if you fill out, just, if you can mention where you heard of us or who you heard of us from. And we're just going to keep pushing. Mark gives everybody his love. He'll be on the next one and it's going to be fantastic. Again, so much appreciated. Everything that we're doing, I just want you to know, comes from a pure source. This came from and was delivered from someplace that was good. And it was developed from an amazing positive interaction while wearing the shoes and trying to help somebody. And a formula was discovered. And I'm just going to ride the wave. Sometimes they'll crash, but I'll get back up on the board the best I can. And through the training principles, through everything, the show, we're looking to make a real change and a real impact the best we can, utilizing our lane. And it's my personal, my personal goals, if you will, or if you guys want to know, for me, I'm personally looking to strengthening my faith first. I'm looking to stabilize the finances and strengthen my family life and really bring this home and cut the ribbon to the campus. And there's going to be a lot more parts to it other than the campus that we can grow from there. With that said, everybody, thank you so much for joining me. If you're listening to this and you're not going to see it, I'm on this kind of different virtual. So for people, you can see it. I know it's weird, I'm not going to do editing and things like that. So you'll hear some stutters, whatever. We'll get there. Eventually, we're going to have a great team, great branding, graphics, all that. But right now, this is where we're at. You have a fantastic day or evening. Thank you so much for riding the wave. You guys take care. Have a good one. Bye.